Welcome everyone to the second game of the quarterfinals at the Las Vegas Grand Slam Freestyle Chess 2025. We have on the right of our screen Nodirbek Abdusattorov. On the left is Arjun Erigaisi. Their first game ended in a draw, and now this is the second one. And if we look at the position carefully, we will see that there's a bishop on the side of the board, a rook, queen, knight, king in the original position where it belongs, and then bishop, knight and rook. So all four pieces on their original squares. Remains to be seen how players will play, because it's quite possible that they could go for something like knight f3, g3, bishop g2 castles, and then we would have a position which would be similar to traditional chess rather than freestyle chess. But it could also be they go wild with something like f4, b4 and stuff like that. So you can see Nodirbek adjusting all his pieces. Arjun is ready for the clash. Arjun's calmness and Nodirbek's intensity, I think these are two very intense emotions. Even Arjun's calmness is so intense, and so it's always a clash of styles when both of these players play 30 minutes plus 30 seconds increment, and off we go. Arjun opens the game with pawn to b4. You can be sure that Arjun is looking for something fighting here. The bishop opens up with b6. The bishop is open here. Pawn comes up to c4. Gaining good space is Arjun Erigaisi. Knight comes out to f6. You also have to be careful sometimes. The bishop could take the knight potentially. f4. Wow. This is real fighting chess. He's saying that I don't want to go for like well-trodden path with knight f3, g3 stuff. f4 is on the board. Nodirbek plays his pawn to c5. Now you can play b5, gaining space. He pushes b5. Now be careful here. There's bishop e5, but d6 is there. He goes g6, and I think makes a lot of sense to put the bishop on g7. Knight comes out to f2 and d5. Now this is not the best of moves because of bishop e5, and I believe Nodirbek is a bit surprised here. He goes d4. He's telling his opponent, take this if you want, because then I have attack here and it's compensation, and Arjun says I don't really want it. He plays his pawn to e3, bishop g7 played, and now can we chop off this rook? Because here he could have saved the rook, which was possible, but Nodirbek believes in the compensation of giving up the rook. Is it enough? Arjun says, I don't think so. He plays his knight out to f3. And Nodirbek goes knight d7 so that he can push his pawn to e5. Bishop comes out to e2. And from here on, Arjun's task is very clear. He doesn't have to do anything special. He has to trade pieces and make sure that black's compensation is not too much. e5 played right in the center. You can see this bishop is absolutely amazing. But after takes, let's say he's going to take back with the knight here, I believe. And I think Arjun is feeling the confidence here. He goes knight takes e5, and now maybe knight e5. Oh, he takes it. And if bishop takes, you have knight g4 attacking the bishop and also defending the pawn. So that's why queen takes e5 played here, putting pressure on the e3 point. Knight comes to d3. I love this move, attacking the queen, also preparing bishop f3. The queen goes back to d6, and now the knight comes to f4. So slowly and steadily, Arjun's knight becoming really strong, wanting to get to the d5 square, so offering a trade here, and I believe Arjun's very happy. He actually offers the bishop for a trade. Takes on f4, pawn takes, and now the e file is open. Just want to get your rook here. By the way, can't take this pawn because of bishop takes a8, so have to be careful. He goes d3. He's clearing up the d4 square for a check for his pieces. Arjun simply moves his king to the side. King h1, bishop takes bishop, rook takes, and now rook e8 played. You can see that the d3 pawn is a bit soft, but can you win it is the question. And Arjun goes rook b3. He is not worried about his back rank. Bishop d4 played by Nodirbek, who's trying to get in as many of his pieces into the game. But rook d3, fantastic move, and now rook e4. So Arjun is not only an exchange up, he's also a pawn up. So he needs to trade a pair of rooks. He first goes rook f1, queen e7, trying to enter here on the second rank perhaps. Queen comes to d1 and pawn to f5. I believe Arjun had a trap. If you went rook e2, maybe he wanted to play rook e3. Very cool move. But anyway, f5 played, and now rook b3. Arjun wants to go rook b1 and rook e1, trading the rooks. He wants to get things off the board. That's his idea, and very rightly so. Now, the only problem that actually Arjun faces here is that black's pieces are very active. So even if you can trade the rooks, it's not so simple to win the game. Because firstly, the f4 pawn is under attack. By the way, here, if you take rook f4, queen f4, there is queen e2. So that's why he goes rook e3, trying to keep the rook on the open file. Arjun challenges it, giving up a pawn, takes, queen takes here. And so the pawns have been equalized, and now Arjun is clear exchange up. He goes queen f1. He keeps this defended. He wants to go rook e1. And bishop c3 stopping. And now queen f3. Offering a trade of queens, queen d2, keeping the queens on the board, attacking the a2 pawn, a4 played. One thing that Nodirbek does incredibly well is offer the stiffest of resistance. So Arjun has to remain careful. Maybe he can try to open up the king side here, the black king with g4, rook f1, played pawn to g4, pushed, plays en passant. And now pawn takes pawn with the idea of rook f2, king g2, and bishop goes to e5. He goes rook to d1, attacking the queen, and the pawn here defended, queen b2. Somewhere you need a successful g4 in order to break through, I believe, because here you can give a check, but then king g7, and the king is a bit weak for white as well. Anyway, he goes queen e3 and king e6 by Nodirbek. Rook e2. The queen gives a check, king comes up, and he moves the king away. How is Arjun going to break in here is the big question. a5 played, queen comes to c3, and I like the fact that now another file has opened up on the a file. Also the b6 pawn has been weakened. Queen to f3 played. Now a check could come in. He goes king g5. Fighting here is Nodirbek Abdusattorov. And now queen to d5 played, attacking the bishop. The bishop goes to d4, looking here. If the queen can enter and start attacking, it would be something. A check. Is white reaching the black king first? King h5 is met with queen h4, checkmate. So bishop f6 played, and queen to d6, threatening check, and there's no mate. But he goes back with his king. King to h6. You can see how the queen keeps control of the bishop. At the same time, it's difficult for the rook to enter because then checks on the white king begin. King goes back to g7 now. Queen b7, queen c7, check, and repeating here to gain time because Arjun is down to 1 minute. Little bit tricky, yeah. Nodirbek has created difficulties. Arjun calms down, brings his queen to f3. Queen goes in. Well, it's easy to lose your control here. g4. Now finally he opens up the position, takes on g4, queen takes g4. Now you have two files open towards the black king. Bishop d4, trying to give a check here. And Arjun has 2 minutes to decide. He goes queen f3. There's a 30-second increment per move. If you give a check here, I go king h3, and then there are no checks. So Arjun has it calculated. Queen g5 played. And now maybe there are some queen at 6 checks ideas. He goes queen b7 check, king at 6. But yeah, getting rook in would be just perpetual. So he centralizes his queen. Queen e4, queen goes to c1 with the idea of check here. King comes to g3. Oh my, where is he going with his king? Check, maybe blocking with the rook. Oh, Arjun. Oh, he blocks with the queen. Queen c1. And I believe Arjun has managed to coordinate his rook and queen now. Check in with the rook. No. Queen d7, king h6. Oh, rook h2 check. Yes, he finds it. King g5. Is it a mate here? Queen g4. It should be. Queen d8 check. Almost a mate. The king is running. Arjun finds another check. Queen f8. King e6. Do we go rook e2 check? Arjun has almost got the king cornered, but somehow the black king is not getting checkmated. Bishop e5 counter check. King goes to f2. No more checks here. Threatening queen e8 check. Queen a1. Defending the bishop here. Man, Nodirbek is so resourceful. He goes king g2. Oof. What a quiet move to play. Queen c3. Keeps the bishop protected. It definitely requires a lot of thinking here from the part of Arjun. The position is not winning itself. Rook f2 should win now, but instead he comes back queen f3. Maybe with some ideas of queen d5 check. We are reaching close to a position where white is winning, but still not totally. Queen d4 makes a lot of sense here. He goes queen a1, but now rook f2 should be over because of queen f7 check. He goes king h3. Arjun trying to hang in there. 49 seconds. There's not going to be any second time control, so he needs to figure out a win here. King e7 played. And now queen to b7 check. Important to go back king f8 perhaps, but he goes king f6 and he's going to lose another pawn here. Queen takes b6, and the thing is, after king g7, queen check, and he can come back, and then the b passer. I believe Nodirbek is losing now this material, a lot of it, and Arjun has managed to make progress by winning this b pawn. He gets another trump card and Nodirbek resigns. Arjun Erigaisi wins. A wonderful win by him. Firstly, was very alert in the opening to spot this move bishop e5 to win an exchange, and then later converting with precision, never letting the win go. Moving into the semi-finals, setting up a clash with Levon Aronian, which is going to be an epic encounter. Arjun is very close to winning his first Grand Slam title and taking home $200,000. Will be interesting to see if he manages to do that.
Arjun, two fantastic games today you played. The first one ended in a draw, but the second one you converted absolutely beautifully. Could you please take us through the final moments of the first game with us?
Yeah, so the first one, the final moments were my final thoughts. Like, I was just relieved when it ended in a draw, because he had a win and I saw it during the game, so I was really scared.
Okay, and what was your thought coming into the second game? Because you knew that a win would guarantee you the spot, but any other result would be going the other way.
Yeah, so I was like confident about my chances in tiebreak as well, but thought since I have white, I should try. And yeah, I didn't want to go bonkers, because I have seen in this tournament that, like, with a white you feel like you should try, but you end up getting worse and losing. Sometimes the best is to just play it simple and keep it solid. So yeah, on one hand I wanted to play solid, but on the other I really liked this f4 idea. I don't know if it's good or not, but I liked it and I went for it. And yeah, I got a great position quite fast.
During the end game, in the second game, during the end game, we saw you not rushing. You were taking your time to make the moves. What was going on in your mind, if you can share with us? Because it was as per what we could see from outside, it was not easy for you to convert, and also Nodirbek was throwing in everything in his capacity. So what lines were you seeing from his angle, from his side?
Yeah, objectively probably it's like +3, +4, I guess, but practically it's not that easy. Like I basically have to trade queens, but his king is, it looks weak, but it's actually not weak because like there's no mating net as such. Like even if when his king is on g7, pawn on g6, bishop on d4, if I get queen e7, king h6, queen h4, king g7, rook e7, king f8, and there's no mating net, and then my king will be weak. So I had to combine like queen trade ideas along with going ahead with my king, and yeah, I think I did that fairly well. And some of the lines, for instance, when he played queen c1, so he gave queen g1 check. I had two options like rook g2 and queen g2, but I thought queen g2 wins, and I went for it. And to be honest, at this point I relaxed a bit, thinking like I'm getting to trade queens by force. But he played queen c1, and yeah, queen h3, king g7, queen d7, king h6. Yeah, first what I missed was like rook h2, king g5. I wanted queen g4, king f6, queen f4, but now take bishop e5, and I lose the h2 rook. So after king g5, I had to go for this queen d8. If not for this, I think it's not that easy. At queen d8, king f5, queen f8. The thing is, he cannot go to g5 anymore because of queen h6 and c1 hangs. And after king e6, rook e2, bishop e5. Okay, it's nice to like defend a check against a check, defend the check with a check, but yeah, it doesn't help him because after king f2, he doesn't have any threats, and because of the spin, it's not so harmonious for him anymore. So I can combine the b6 weakness with queen trade ideas, and yeah, finally I won.
Amazing, the way you explain things. Yeah, it seems we can understand that what goes on in your head. Amazing, thank you for sharing that. And what does this mean against Nodirbek mean to you? Because you have got these positions a lot of times in other games also, but converting it in such a demanding situation, what does this mean to you?
Yeah, I think like he resists really well. Like he gets worse a lot, but I know some people think like it's like luck that he saves them, but I think it's like full skill. He resists really well. Even today morning and many other games with him, like I get really good positions, but he resists so well, and sometimes even takes me and wins, even holds. So I'm happy that today not only this game, the second game, not only did I win, but I think I actually never let it slip, the advantage win.
Right. And tell us that in freestyle there's a very unique format that you can discuss with your color mates before the round, and you have some of the best players sitting beside you. Do you take ideas from them? If there is any game that you remember that an idea struck with you and you played that idea from the first session that you discuss when you analyze?
Yeah, I take a lot of ideas from there, and most of the times I play them. Even this game, like this b4, b6, okay, we did not discuss b6 much, we discussed b5, but basically this f4 knight f2 concept was suggested by Vincent, and okay, some of us were not that happy with this idea, but I really liked it, and yeah, I took it.
Right, and we know that you were not only fighting on the board but also off the board as your bag went missing. So how difficult was it for you to concentrate on your games, or do you think that those things are secondary to you? Your chess training is most important.
Yeah, firstly, like there were like 3-4 days free day for 3 days, so which kind of helped. But even if not for that, like I wouldn't let it affect my. It's a bit unpleasant, but I wouldn't let it affect my chess because it's not such a big deal as such. But yeah, it was surely unpleasant. And on that note, shout out to Quantbox.
Yes.
They actually sent me like some clothes from the US office, and it was like really quickly. Like they saw my tweet and I got it done. So yeah.
That's amazing. And before we let you go, about yesterday night dinner, like everybody's talking about how Prague did not select you. Do you think that facing Nodirbek was a challenge that you wanted to face in this round?
Yeah, between Prague and Nodirbek, I definitely would prefer, like, given that there's a choice, I definitely would prefer to play Nodirbek.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Arjun, for your wonderful time, and congratulations for advancing to the next stage. All the very best.
Thank you.